Welcome back to my channel, Custom Scrapbook Design by Christy Stubbs. And I am bringing you another Halloween layout. I am still working on finishing up our Goosebumps collection by Pretty Little Studio. So let's get started. Today I think I have something kind of envisioned for this. I'm not sure if I'll use up the scraps from the last video. This is what I've got left. But I kind of had a vision using these two papers. So the first thing I'm gonna do is cut off the branding strips. I've got the pumpkins here. And then I've got this one called Candy Corn. That's the orange and the red and a little bit of black here and there on it. And I think what I want to do is then cut these in, I think I want to cut them at a diagonal. So I'm going to take this over to my big cutter and see if I can fit this in as a diagonal or not, or if we're going to have to just mark it and hand cut it, which I may have to do. So let's check that out. Yep, too big to go that way too. So we're going to go ahead I'm not sure I thought this through. Cut it at a diagonal, and nothing is quite long enough. Let's see. We will do this with a pencil because I'm not sure I've fully got it lined up to hit that other diagonal or not. Not quite. Okay. We should be able to make that work. I guess the other option would be to fold it. It's not perfectly square. That might be the problem. Okay. So let's cut it and see what we come up with here. I tend to not cut real straight to begin with, so this could be interesting, considering I kind of wanted it to end up pretty straight with what I had envisioned in my mind, but that vision may have to change just ever so slightly, depending on how this works out. Okay. And I've got the black paper to be the base pages, and we're going to do a 2-page spread. So what I was envisioning is those each going like that. And then doing the same thing with this orange paper. And whether or not I cut that straight or crooked, we're going to cut this other one the same way. So hopefully they will fit together nicely once we get the cut. And I drew the line a little off, so now I'm cutting just to the side of the line that I drew, because I did not get it lined up in the corner. So we'll see what happens once I put these two sheets together. There we go. All right. Darn, that's not exactly the way I wanted that to go. I actually meant to cut it so that it went up and down, but it appears I'm gonna have it go sideways since I cut it the wrong way. Darn, darn, darn. Okay, it's all right. That will still work. So the next thing I want to see, because we've got these pumpkins on here, I have this border maker from Creative Memories, and I've got all kinds of fun little borders. And I happen to have a pumpkin one, and I just want to check and see if it is going to be big enough to border where those papers meet, because we've got the pumpkins on the one sheet and then just the orange lines on the other. So I'm not sure this will work. This is the downfall to doing this live with you and not really having an idea in mind. So I just wanted to see if we lined that up, if we could, if this is big enough. And of course it's not long enough because we're at that diagonal. So that's not necessarily what I want, I don't think. I actually have a change of plans for what I originally thought I wanted to do. We're going to go ahead and cut this again. And we're going to cut these in, all of them, into quarters instead. I want to see how that's gonna lay out. Okay. Okay. Actually liking that just a little bit better. But I think it might be kind of nice to trim all those off just a little bit and get that black, a black reveal there. So I'm going to start, and this would have been easier to trim it when it was a full piece of paper. So if anyone is going to copy this layout, trim your 12 by 12 paper down first, and then you won't have to go through these steps that I'm going through right now and trim each one of these. It'll be a whole lot easier, but this isn't what I originally envisioned. So we're gonna adapt and modify, and it will just work out just fine. So I'm gonna cut 1/4 of an inch off of all 4 pieces. We're gonna set this one aside and focus on just one of them for now. And I'm just marking them because I don't have a straight edge to put in my trimmer to trim that off just right. So I'm just kind of eyeballing where the 2 lines are and cutting that off. And before I trim the pumpkin ones, I want to line those up real quick and see how that's gonna look. I'm a full believer in previewing your layout. So I just wanna see, put that right on the edge. Okay, I think that's all the trimming I'm actually gonna need to do, except I think I want to have that edge on this outside piece as well. So I'm gonna go ahead and trim the 2 pumpkin pieces down now too. All right. So just mark those in 2 spots. If I was confident enough, I could put the 2 triangles together and cut them both at the same time, but that doesn't always seem to work out real well for me when I do that. So we're just gonna cut them each individually. Trim that off. All right. Let's line this up once again. Make sure we've got the pumpkins going the right direction. And I'd like to have about 1/8 of an inch reveal on the outside, if that works out. The toughest thing about this is going to be just getting it all to lay down, like putting it down in just the right spot so that the spacing works out. And we're going to go ahead and take the tape runner and just put a little adhesive in the 3 corners. Lay it down where we think it's going to go. That'll hold it in place, yet we'll be able to reposition it. So that'll make this a whole lot easier trying to kind of get this lined up. No, we're not quite. All right, I'll try that. This is a little more tedious of a layout than I anticipated, I thought this would be a real quick, easy one for us tonight, but I just had to go and make it just a little more complicated. I tend to do that. And, whoops. This might be where my cutting wasn't exactly straight, but I think, yeah, that looks crooked as heck. Let's get this last one in place and then maybe start modifying them just a little bit. And I don't love to measure, but I might have to measure to get this lined up. The points should line up. I have a feeling I may have cut them a bit crooked when I cut them diagonally. Okay, so that. Try moving this one. All right. There. That is exactly what I was looking for. Okay. So I don't think that turned out too bad. The pumpkins. We're going to cut the other page and see if we can get it so the pumpkins aren't sideways. That might be a bit of an issue too. I don't love that. So let's go ahead and cut those other pieces. Let's cut this one in half and see how the pumpkins will lay out. That's the main question I've got. Otherwise, we might be modifying this again just a bit. So if we put the pumpkins here and then here, yep, that will work. Okay, so we better go ahead and trim all of these. I'll do that real quick. Okay, I honestly think that is going to work. Even though they're not perfect, they look pretty darn good that way. So I don't think I'm going to end up using the border punch. It just isn't quite what isn't looking quite right. So we're just gonna move on to plan B. And I think we're gonna keep this layout pretty simple. And I'm gonna glue this down. I'm gonna cut some photo mats. And I said in my last video, I wasn't gonna dig into finding any more pieces of ephemera or opening a new one, but I may go grab the other ephemera pack that I haven't used yet and see if we can find a few pieces to decorate these with. So I'm going to go ahead and glue this down and then we'll move on. Actually, I just noticed something else. And we're gonna swap. Wow, I'm on a struggle bus. We're gonna swap those around too, so that those line up a little bit better. Instead of going the opposite direction, the arrows are going the same direction all the way across, where I had this direction and this direction before. That's better. Boy, just a little more swapping. We'll get this right yet. Okay, then I'm gonna glue this down and grab another ephemera pack, and we'll see how we can jazz this page up just a little bit. Okay, I'm back with another piece for matting, and I ended up pulling 2 sets of the die cuts to see kind of what we want to use here. But I'm going to go ahead and finish cutting the mats, and I am cutting those at 4 1/4 by 6 1/4, so that whoever wants to add pictures to this can just add 4 by 6 photos. So 4 1/4. And if we end up cutting these down, we end up cutting them down. But we're going to start at that size and see how they fit. All right, so we've got 6. We can fit, I tend to put more pictures on a page than a lot of other people do. I very, very rarely do a page with just one photo. I kind of like to try and get as many photos on a page as I possibly can. So I kind of like the looks of that. And let's first go back to the original stash of die cuts that I had originally opened. And I still don't think I'm gonna like any of those. So let's open one of these up and see if there's anything in here that I think will work better. And this is the Witch's Brew package. I love the packaging. I like that all of them are printed on the back. That's not unusual. But I like the polka dot paper on the front. And I just like this Goosebumps collection so much. There's a lot of fun stuff in here. So maybe we just want to take and add a few. Let's see what we got. We got bats, we got spiders, we got 3 stars, so we could do the circles and the stars, or we could just do regular stars in all kinds of sizes. And then we've got these little corners too, which might be kind of fun. And I think just because the colors really blend together, we might have to back those to make those pop a little bit. But I kind of like those coming up the corners. I think we're going to stick with this Witch's Brew die cut pack, and we may end up using the majority of it on this layout. So when I cut all the photo mats, I've got all these cut-offs left over. So I'm gonna go ahead and actually, I didn't ink any of these papers, which if you've been following me at all, you know I really like to ink. So I don't know if that was just an oversight, or I think it looks good the way that it is, but I am gonna ink these accents, ink those edges on that. And then we're gonna just glue this down to the black. I'm gonna glue one edge up there so that I have fewer edges to cut. And we'll see how well that, we'll just do one of them and see how well that stands out. Yeah, that stands out a lot better. I know the black still kind of blends, you know, right on the edge where that little joint is, but I think that still does make it pop just a little bit better. So I'm gonna go ahead and mat all 6 of those and trim those. And then I'll speed that up so that you don't have to watch. We can watch that in high speed and get through this just a little bit faster for you. Now it's just a matter of playing around with the elements and seeing what other pieces we might want to add. And I'm kind of mirroring, I'm not sure if that's a word, one page to the other. So I'm kind of trying to line up my photo mats kind of in the same spot, and then also, you know, use similar die cuts in the same areas as well. So with that being said, I'm going to totally change that a little bit, because I'm going to put stars here, but I'm not going to on the pumpkins. I want to leave the pumpkins as they are. And we want to change the color of that one. There we go. I like the way that looks. And I don't think we'll use these circles. Pull those off of here. And maybe we'll pull this one closer to the edge and run a set of stars down this side, and I think we'll go opposite of that other one where it's big, little, big. We're gonna go a little, put the big one in the middle and go like that. Okay, so I think I'm going to ink these as well and back them with the black, fussy cut that black around the outside of those as well, just to make those pop. So I'm gonna go ahead and do those real quick. Okay, so once I got those inked and kind of set on there, I actually think that they stand out enough without backing them with the black paper. So I think it's time to go ahead and start setting the photo mats in place. I want to get those set first before I hook down or glue down any of the embellishments, just because I may, before I totally get it all set in stone, I may change my mind. So I want to get the photo mats set and then do the embellishments from there. Because you just never know what else I may end up adding to it. So I like the fact that you can get a good amount of pictures on this Halloween spread here. If you've got kiddos in school, grandkids, they usually have their school party that they do, and then you always have the trick-or-treating with family and that type of thing. So sometimes you can have a lot of pictures. So this will help you to get those all in your book. All right, so very similar. These two mats are set pretty similar, and then these two are just offset just a little bit. One of these must be just a tad crooked. I won't be able to tell until I hold it up. Okay, and we're gonna go ahead and glue these square stars down. I'm going to just take these circles and only glue half way down so that whenever somebody puts their picture under there, it can just slide right under there nicely. And then I'm going to do the same thing with the spider on the other side. Make it more of a tuck spot so that you can just tuck that picture right underneath that spider and still have a nice black mat around your picture. Okay, so I think I'm trying to decide if I'm happy with that or if we want to take a peek at the other pack of die cuts and see if we want to utilize any of those. or if it's good the way it is. So let's have a feeling we're going to be good the way it is. I think it's busy enough, possibly. So I'm going to put all those back, but I think I will take a peek at my sticker sheet that we've been using pretty much on every layout so far. So we might as well stick a couple of those on here just to utilize this to finish this up and just to add a little bit more detail to the page. Do pumpkin patch there. We've got blah 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 down there. Let's throw Eye of Newt here. And let's see, what else? Maybe we'll do poison up by the spider. And let's see, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's find one for right here. And we're going to do costume party there. Actually, we're going to throw that in between the stars. And I think we'll do another one now too. We'll do beware. Oh, got that just a tad crooked. Let's see if I can lift that back up. Okay, and then let's do them on the stars on this side too. So we'll do black cat and scary on. Oops, there's a star from that ephemera pack. Scary on. Okay. All right. I think we'll add our little white 4x6 place 4x6 photo here to finish it off. Is that the 4x6? Better test it on the scrap. Yep, place 4x6 photo here. So we're going to go ahead and stamp that on all the mats. And we've got our 2-page spread. Used up 2 more sheets out of the collection. I'll be back with one more set of layouts for you. I've got 2 more pieces of the definitely Halloween print, so I'll be back with at least one more layout to finish this up before we start on the Christmas collection. So these pages will be available on my website, customscrapbookdesign.com, and as well as the Goosebumps paper line is there, and all of the ephemera packs and sticker packs. You will find those there if you're wanting to duplicate what I have been creating for you guys. Thanks so much for sticking with me. If you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel so that you can see the rest of this collection put to use, and spread the word and share with your friends my channel. Thanks again for watching.